for peace and harmony for the whole mankind. Om Tapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Tapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avadara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya pratyorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions. Let us pray to him, the Supreme God Incarnate, to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We are discussing some of the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna taken from the Gospel. Today's topic, which I wanted to discuss, is the discipline of truthfulness. Truthfulness. Sri Ramakrishna has said truthfulness is the greatest austerity to be practiced in this age. By just being truthful, you will realize God, the embodiment of truth. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So, that Brahman is verily the truth. That which always exists forever, is called truth. Well, Swami Brahmananda ji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, has said real austerity is based upon the three principles. Austerity is important to purify the mind. Unless the mind is purified, you can't progress in spiritual life. So, you have to clearly understand what exactly austerity means and how to practice it. Spirituality means practicing the spiritual qualities which will enable you to have the realization of God. Now, real austerity is based on three principles. First, Swamiji says, take refuge in the truth. Truth is the pillar to which you must always hold while performing any action. Secondly, conquer lust. It is this craving that drags the mind away from God and just pushes you more fast into the world. Third is renounce all cravings. Each one is difficult, no doubt. But if you have to see God in this very life, if you have to realize the truth, you will have to practice these things. You must be aware of the things to be practiced. Then you must apply your mind wholeheartedly. Then you will get the spiritual fruit, God realization. So God is truth itself, the inner controller. Swami Premananda ji, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, has said, hold on to truth. That is, make your heart and lips the same. That's the way of becoming truthful. Hold on to truth and you will achieve everything. Holding on to truth is very important discipline in this spiritual life. The first thing needed to be spiritual is, therefore, truthfulness. Never forsake truth, even for the sake of your life. If you study Sri Ramakrishna's life, Sri Ramakrishna's father, Kshudiram Chattopadhyay, very devoted. Sri Ramakrishna was born of very devoted parents. Both Kshudiram, the father, Chandramani, the mother, both were highly devoted persons. And Their whole life was spiritually oriented, and they would practice truthfulness to the maximum. They were simple, straightforward, and truthful. So, in fact, both Kshudiram and Chandramani would have the visions of gods and goddesses almost every day. Once Chandramani was standing in front of her home, waiting for her son to return. The son had gone somewhere, Ramlal, to perform, Ram Prasad, to perform the worship of the Divine Mother, Goddess Lakshmi, in some devotee's home. Then the mother was waiting because the son didn't come. It was getting late in the night. And the mother got worried. What happened to my son? He has not returned. He went to the devotee's home. Just she was concerned about her son's return. So she was waiting outside. Late in the night, she saw from a distance a beautiful woman, nicely decorated with ornaments. She was coming on the way. And Sri Ramakrishna and Chandramani saw her and told her, well, you are walking in this street in this dead night. It is not safe for you. It is not safe. So please come and stay in our home. Spend the night here. Next day morning you can go. Like that, Chandramani is telling that woman, who was most beautiful to look at. She did not know that woman was none other than Goddess Lakshmi. And when Chandramani said that, she smiled and told, well, nothing to worry. I know my way. I will go. No problem. And your son will be returning very soon. Like that, she gave the message and she disappeared. So it was very natural for Chandramani and Kshudiram to have the visions of gods and goddesses almost every day, because their hearts were so pure, crystal clear, no trace of impurity. So they could see many things which ordinarily people could not see. So once what happened, Kshudiram, the father of Sri Ramakrishna, he was very truthful and well respected in the whole village. And when he would walk on the street, the villagers would stand up in order to show reverence to the Kshudiram. One day what happened, one of the landlords of the village was involved in some litigation. And of course this landlord was a greedy one. He wanted to grab the property of somebody, but then he wanted a witness who would support him. So he knew very well that Kshudiram was well respected and noted for his truthfulness. So this landlord thought, why not I go and request him to come and say things in favor of me, though it was not justified. So he came and requested him, well, please come to the court and please say a few words like this. I will win the case and you don't have to worry about your financial things, and I will take care of your whole family and I will support your family. I will give whatever the amount required, etc. He began to just tempt him in so many ways. If anybody else were in that position, any ordinary person would have easily succumbed to the request of the landlord. But Sri Ramakrishna's father was made up of a different metal. So he immediately said, well, I don't want your money. I am contented. I am very happy. I am really very happy. I am peaceful. So why do I need your money? Why should you have to support me? God is there to support me. He is taking care of me in every respect. And I have taken complete refuge in Him. So please don't bother me. Don't tell me to come and tell false false affidavit in the court. I am not coming. No, please excuse me. Like that, Kshudiram said, and the landlord, he became furious. Then he became so angry, he filed a false suit against Kshudiram and grabbed all his land. And Kshudiram had to leave the place because he cannot earn his livelihood. Formerly he was cultivating a farm, but then he did not utter even a word of complaint. He never complained. Well, if that is God's will, it's all right. Let God's will prevail. I don't want to force God to do this way, that way, etc. Why should I? Let God take care of things, and whatever He wills, let it be done. So with that attitude, he never murmured, never complained, simply left the place, came to the neighboring village, and he was well known all over the place. And one of his friends offered a land to him. Oh sir, we are very fortunate you have come to our place. Please cultivate this land and use it. As long as you are living, you can use this land, no problem. I have got extra land. Like that man offered him a land. Well, what I want to tell you here is that if he had given false affidavit, he would have become rich immediately. But he didn't want that kind of material prosperity at the cost of spiritual prosperity. To him, spiritual prosperity was really important than the material one. Because the material prosperity comes now, goes away. But spiritual prosperity, when it comes, it stays with you. It doesn't go. So you must aspire for the spiritual aspect, for the spiritual prosperity. That's the meaning. So the first thing needed to be spiritual is truthfulness. Never forsake truth even for the sake of your life. God is truth itself. Hence, He is at the command of one who is devoted to truth. Spirituality is impossible for him who does not cherish truthfulness in thought, in word, and in deed. You must be truthful in all these aspects, in your thinking, in your uttering, and in your actions. So, you have to practice them. Without this, all your attempt is in vain. So, first of all, try to be unflinchingly truthful with all heart and soul. Satyameva jayate nanritam. The famous saying in Sanskrit, truth is ever victorious in all times, past, present and future. One gets everything by holding on to truth. By holding on to truth, you get God Himself. When you get God, that means you get everything. You must feel the utter hollowness of everything but truth. As Nachiketas, a famous brahmachari in the Kathopanishad, did. Wealth, kingdom, enjoyments, power, all these were to him nothing less than zero. They were nothing less than zero. So Nachiketas, the famous brahmachari in that Upanishad, he wanted nothing but truth. And truth was bound to come to him. So, because he was so much determined to realize the truth, he didn't want to deviate his mind in any other direction. He was totally convinced of the hollowness of these worldly things. So he wanted nothing but truth. He wanted the realization of truth. So he insisted upon to teach that truth, the knowledge of the self, Atma Jnana. So finally, the god of death, he had to yield, and he overwhelmingly appreciated this young boy who was shining in all glory because of its purity, was well established in truthfulness. So he taught him the knowledge of Atman, and he got the realization. So you must have the same firm conviction about the hollowness of the material world and seek God with undivided devotion. Then He will surely come to you. Why God is not coming to you? Because your mind is divided. With divided mind, you can't realize God. So, the mind must be integrated. It must flow in one direction. Then you will see God. Your hunger will be satisfied only when you perceive truth. Truth is that food, eating which you will never hunger again. Truth is that drinking of which you never thirst again. Purity, truthfulness, and honesty should make the cornerstone of your life, and there should be faith. Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, even those engaged in worldly activities such as office work or business, even they should hold on to the truth. Truthfulness alone is the spiritual discipline in the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means this modern age. Truthfulness. That's the greatest austerity. Hold on to that one austerity, you will acquire all the divine virtues. So, there is close connection between dharma and satya. That is, between righteousness and truth. There's a close connection. The moral instructions of our Upanishads, they begin with Satyam Vada, Dharman Chara. Speak the truth, follow righteousness. That's how the Upanishad starts. So, the definition of dharma is that which helps us to attain worldly prosperity and salvation. That is called dharma. For attaining both these, truth is the fundamental virtue. In the Upanishads it is said that truth and righteousness are one and the same. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the major Upanishads, it says, what is righteousness is indeed truth. Hence people say of one speaking what is true, that he speaks what is righteousness. Or of one speaking what is righteousness, that he speaks what is true, because both of them are but righteousness. There's another famous scripture, Bhagavat. There it is stated that truth is the flower and fruit of the tree, that is the living body. Truth is a virtue to be realized if one wants to reach the final liberation. If you want to get rid of suffering forever, you must hold on to truth. That which remains forever is truth. As I said earlier, the whole world from that point of view is untrue. Why it is untrue? Because it will not remain forever. The world will not remain forever in the same way. And every cycle has got certain period. After that period, it dissolves. So when the whole world is dissolved, still there one thing always exists, and that is Brahman. So that is truth. It exists forever. From Brahman, Purusha and Prakriti projected, a combination of male and female principle. From that, the whole creation started projecting. It's all projection, one after the other. It is like rays projecting from the sun. Without sun, there cannot be rays. But the rays and the sun are inseparable. The same sun is shining through the rays. Same way, the whole projection is nothing but God's consciousness. So He projects it for a while and withdraws it again. Projects it, withdraws it, goes on ad infinitum. It's called involution, evolution. It evolves and it involves. Again it evolves, again it involves. There's a famous speech by Swami Vivekananda in Jnana Yoga. Please read that. The chapter Involution and Evolution. How nicely Swamiji has dealt with this subject. So, Brahman is the substratum which always exists, and that is truth. So, when the universe ceases to exist, during the final dissolution, God alone exists. So it is said, He is beginningless, He is endless, without beginning, without end. Who is to find the beginning? Who is to find the end? So, God is the only truth. The way to reach God is also called truth derivatively. So, let us concentrate upon practicing truthfulness in our life. In order to do that, you have to monitor yourself from morning to night. How many things you speak about, how many things you are able to fulfill them. If you are watchful, you can minimize the untrue statements. Well, be aware of the quality of this truthfulness and practice it, being humble and putting faith in God. Then in course of time it becomes easy. By practicing truthfulness you will realize God. And Sri Ramakrishna has said that is the austerity for this modern age. So this is only a kind of introduction I have given. The same topic I will speak next Tuesday. Sri Ramakrishna said, it will not do to say that God exists and then idle away your time. You must reach God somehow or other. Call on Him in solitude and pray to Him, O Lord, reveal Thyself to me. Weep for Him with a longing heart. You roam about in search of lust and gold like a madman. Now be a little mad for God. Let people say, this man has lost his head for God. Why not renounce everything for a few days and call on God in solitude? What will you achieve by simply saying that God exists and doing nothing about it? There are big fish in the Haldar Pakor, but can you catch them by merely sitting idly on the bank? Prepare some spiced bait and throw it into the lake. Then the fish will come from the deep water and you will see ripples. That will make you happy. Perhaps a fish will jump with a splash and you will get a glimpse of it. Then you will be so glad. Milk must be turned to curd and the curd must be churned, only then will you get butter. To Mahima, a devotee, Sri Ramakrishna said, what a nuisance. Someone must show God to a man while he himself sits idly by all the while. Someone must extract the butter and hold it in front of his mouth. All laugh. What a bother. Someone else must catch the fish and give it to him. A man wanted to see the king. The king lived in the inner court of the palace beyond 7 gates. No sooner did the man pass first gate than he exclaimed, oh, where is the king? But there were 7 gates and he must pass them one after another before he could see the king. Mahimacharyan said, by what kind of work can one realize God? Sri Ramakrishna answered, it is not that God can be realized by this work and not by that. The vision of God depends on His grace. Still a man must work a little with longing for God in his heart. If he has longing, he will receive the grace of God. To attain God, a man must have certain favorable conditions. The company of the holy man, discrimination, and the blessings of a real teacher. Perhaps his elder brother takes the responsibility of the family, for perhaps his wife has spiritual qualities and is very virtuous. Perhaps he is not married at all or entangled in worldly life. He succeeds when conditions like these are fulfilled. In a certain family, a man lay seriously ill. He was at the point of death. Someone said, here is a remedy. First, it must rain when the star Swati is in the ascendant. Then some of that rainwater must collect in a human skull. Then a frog must come there and a snake must chase it. And as the frog is about to be bitten by the snake, it must jump away and poison of the snake must drop into the skull. You must prepare a medicine from this poison and give it to the patient. Then he will live. Tremendous description. The head of the family consulted the almanac about the star and set out at the right moment. With great longing of heart, he began to search for the different ingredients. He prayed to God, O Lord, I shall succeed only if you bring together all the ingredients. As he was roaming about, he actually saw a skull lying on the ground. Presently there came a shower of rain. Then the man exclaimed, O gracious Lord, I have got the rainwater and the Swati, and the skull too. What is more, some of the rain has fallen into the skull. Now be kind enough to bring together the other ingredients. He was reflecting with a yearning heart when he saw a poisonous snake approaching. His joy knew no bounds. He became so excited that he could feel the thumping of his own heart. "Oh God," he prayed, "now the snake has come too. I have procured most of the ingredients. Please be gracious and give me the remaining ones." No sooner did he pray thus than a frog hopped up. The snake pursued it. As they came near the skull and the snake was about to bite the frog jumped over the skull and the snake's poison fell into it. The man began to dance, clapping his hands for joy. So I say that one gets everything through yearning. A man cannot realize God unless he renounces everything mentally. A sadhu cannot lay things up. Birds and wandering monks do not make provisions for the morrow. Such is the state of my mind that I cannot even carry clay in my hand. Once when Hriday tormented me, I thought of leaving this place and going to Benares. I thought of taking some clothes with me, but how could I take money? So I could not go to Benares. All laughed. To Mahimacharan, Sri Ramakrishna said, "You are a householder, therefore you should hold both to this and to that. That is, both to the world and to God." Mahima said, "Sir, can one holds to that also hold to this? Can one who holds to that also hold to this?" Master replied, "Once sitting on the bank of the Ganges near the Panchavati, holding a rupee in one hand and clay in the other, I discriminated. The rupee is the clay, and the clay is verily the rupee. The rupee is verily the clay, and then threw the rupee into the river. But I was a little frightened. How foolish of me to offend the goddess of fortune, I thought. What shall I do if she doesn't provide me with food anymore? Then, like Hazra, I sought help in a ruse. I said to the goddess, Mother, may you dwell in my heart. Once the Divine Mother was pleased with a man's austerities and said to him, You may ask a favor of me. O Mother, said he, if you are so pleased with me, then grant me that I may eat from a gold plate with my grandchildren. Now in one boon, the man got everything, grandchildren, wealth and gold plate. Allah. When the mind is freed from lust and gold, it can be directed to God and become absorbed in Him. It is the bound alone who can be freed. The moment the mind turns away from God, it is bound. When does the lower needle of a pair of scales move away from the upper one? When one pan is pressed down by a weight. Lust and gold is the weight. Why does a child cry on coming out of its mother's womb? With its cry it says as it were, just see where I am now. In my mother's womb I was meditating on the lotus feet of God. But see where I am now. To Mahimacharan, Sri Ramakrishna said, you should renounce mentally, live the life of a householder in a spirit of detachment. We shall stop. Holy association means those who dwell upon holy ideas, those who meditate on spiritual ideas, those who are engaged in spiritual activities, where you have worship, meditation and such type of activities, they're all considered as holy association, which make your mind come towards God. That's the point. Why the people say go to solitude? The reason is, in solitude you feel there's no disturbing factor. Whole nature, you are communicating with the nature itself in solitude. And in that atmosphere, you feel absorption and you'll be able to concentrate on God more easily than in the worldly surroundings. That's the idea. In the worldly surroundings, you're always pulled by worldly things. You want to sit for meditation, you sit for a while, immediately you get up to do something. And you'll be doing something, immediately you divert your mind to something else. You go to something else, again the mind is diverted to go to something other than that. So it is just like jumping, like a monkey, jumping from one desire to another desire. It's a kind of restlessness. So when the mind is restless, you cannot concentrate. If you cannot concentrate, you cannot have the vision of God. So Vision of God depends upon your concentration. If your concentration becomes deep, then it becomes meditation. If meditation becomes deep, you get samadhi. If you get samadhi, you are liberated. That's the result, end result. Everything is taught and given to us in graphic details. Only has to apply your mind. It's true, you have got so many difficulties, so many problems. They all exist. Who will say there is no problem in mountain climbing? Mountain climbing means always it is beset with so many problems, ups and downs. But keep going, you will reach the summit. Once you reach the summit, you will be very happy. Spiritual life is like that. It is like climbing the mountain. You must be aware of the goal and practice, that's all. The intensity of practice is important. Intensity of practice and what practice you are doing. Everything must be definite. There should not be any ambiguity or confusion in your thinking and doing things. Everything must be clear. And Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are made very clear. That's all.